Hello, I'm Darwin Green, President and CEO of HighGold Mining. HighGold's a fairly new company. We launched about a year ago, and we're trading for almost exactly a year, actually, under the symbol HIGH on the TSX Venture. We also trade under the symbol HGGOF on the OTCQX. We're focused on high-grade gold in North America. We've got 3 properties in the Timmins camp, Ontario, and our flagship resource expansion stage project is called the Johnson Tract, located in Alaska. Got a fairly tight capital structure with just 52 million shares issued and outstanding. Got a great quality of roster of shareholders. Got about 20 million cash in the bank. It's been a great run for us so far in terms of raising capital. We raised about 30 million total since inception. The last 2 were done without warrants. We've got an experienced and driven management team focused on asset types we've got a lot of familiarity with and jurisdictions that we know well as well. And I think you'll see from our assay results here some quality exploration assets. A little more detail on the capitalization structure. So 52 million shares issued and outstanding, fully diluted, we're about 66 million shares. Market cap as of late September was Canadian 145 million. And as I say, about 20 million Canadian cash. On the institutional front, some good blue chip names here: Franklin, Sprott Fund, Merck, Century Dynamic, control about 35%. Management and close associates makes up about 17%, some familiar names there. And a senior gold producer controls about 5% of the company. We also have about 15 million of in-the-money warrants. So looking at the people, we as a group pride ourselves on our technical background, although we also bring a lot of comfort and familiarity in the capital markets as well. Certainly both Ian, my VPX, and myself have a lot of experience in Alaska and in Archean gold systems. As a board, our independent board members here, some names that may look familiar to some: Mike Cinnamon, CFO for B2 Gold; Michael Gray, a well-respected mining analyst; Lance Miller, he's our Alaskan connection. He's VP of Natural Resources for NANA. It's one of the native corporations in Alaska, not the one that we have a property with, but brings good experience to bear. And Anne LaBelle, she's a lawyer with a tremendous amount of sustainability and regulatory affairs experience. So a really nice blend and mix of experience they bring to the table. And as a group, we bring a common commitment to protecting and benefiting the regions where we operate. We take our responsibility very seriously. So where we are exactly, so 3 projects in the Timmins camp and then Johnson Tract. It's in a very accessible part of Alaska. It's not remote at all. It's just a few miles from Tidewater and within a fairly short radius of major population centers. Johnson Tract, it's in the spotlight now. It's I would say our flagship asset. It is a property that had historic work on it, but not for about 25 years. So upon formation, we got in a small drill program last year around this time. That put us in a position where we could generate a mineral resource. And so there's about 900,000 ounces gold equivalent defined to date. That's in sort of all categories, and that's at a grade of about 10 grams per ton gold equivalent. It is a polymetallic system, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. So just to highlight, I think the positive location attributes of Johnson. This is a shot of the barge mobilizing our drills to site at the beginning of our drill program this season. So, 40, 50 miles across the inlet by barge, and then we sling the goods off the barge to a short distance to our camp. We also have an airstrip at site. We sling these things off by helicopter. So I think one of the things that really makes Johnson stand out are these blistering drill intersections. It's produced multiple 70, 80, 100 meter wider intervals of plus 10 grams gold. Pretty exceptional stuff. What makes it extra unique is the amount of base metals that come with the mineralization. So, the top one here, 74 meters of 17.9 grams per ton gold with 7% zinc, 0.5% copper, and lead and silver credits. Really, really attractive mineralization. These are drilled widths, not true widths, but regardless, you can build a lot of ounces fast when you're generating these kind of intersections. So our plan for Johnson, we think we have the ideal mineral deposit. We've got a great start, knocking on the door of 1 million ounces gold equivalent. Our focus is entirely on making it larger right now. We think it's ideal because it's high grade and it's thick. Those elements lend themselves to very attractive economics. It's a type of deposit that will have a small footprint. It would be underground. We are on Alaska Native Corporation lands, and that means the royalties that are generated from development here flow through to the local Indigenous people. There's a lot to like about that. We're in a stable first world mining jurisdiction. So this, in our view, is really the ideal type of deposit. It should be permittable. It should be economic, as long as we get it a little bit bigger, and that's our focus. So just to focus on the resource for a minute, what our starting point is. This is an image of a block model of the deposit. The darker shaded blocks are the indicated blocks. And the real key takeaways here are, excellent continuity of high grade mineralization over wide widths, from surface to depth. That leads to a big compact deposit. But the real takeaway here are the widths. With this steep geometry and with true widths on the order of 20 to 50 meters plus, it really lends itself very well to low-cost mining, long-hole type mining. The geotech is good. It's subvertical. You can actually access this with lateral development from the side of the hill and mine your way up. So all kinds of things to like in terms of development. The question now is, how big can we make it? So we're focused on that. We have 3 drills on site right now, completing a minimum 15,000 meter drill program. That drilling is focused on both resource expansion and on making new discoveries. There's multiple target areas. We just had our first round of results out early September, and we expect to have steady news flow now well into 2021. These are the 5 target areas here. So where we're focused now with the 3 drills is we have 1 drill on the deposit itself, stepping out, expanding it along strike. That same drill is able to test a new zone we found in the footwall. It's called the copper footwall zone. It's a new discovery, very base metal rich. So some of those drills can do double duty in testing both the expansion of the deposit and that new footwall zone. One of the other drills is on what we call the northeast offset. It's the fault displaced continuation of the system at depth. So it's slid the stratigraphy and the mineralization, it's post-mineral fault, to the northeast. And that's where a lot of the down dip potential lies, at depth potential. And we also have other prospect areas surrounding the north trend that tracks up to the north, as well as what we refer to as a southwest extension. So lots to go chasing. It's important to bear in mind that all of those targets are within a 500 to 800 meter radius of the deposit itself. But we control a very large concession. We basically control, a district. There's multiple other prospect areas on the property, stretched out over maybe a 10-kilometer strike length. These are prospects with big visible alteration zones, good geochemistry at surface, and very, very limited past work. So this season, we've also been teeing up those prospects for potential drilling in 2021. That includes geophysics, mapping, prospecting soils, etc. Switching gears and moving to Timmins now. So we have 3 properties there. We have 2 very large land positions in the Golden Mile and Golden Perimeter, which are located just north and south of Timmins. Those are sort of grassroots properties with good conceptual geology, senior producer scale land packages. Then to the east, we have the Munro-Croesus property. It had former production. Recently, we've been consolidating land out there. It's allowed us to basically consolidate what was once a very fragmented land position dating back to sort of the early 19 teens into the 1930s when the mining was taking place. So the history here, extremely high grade past production. It was small scale, but produced, gold in the thousands of ounces per ton type grade. Very specific geologic setting. We've discovered there's multiple other vein structures on the property. They've seen almost no drilling. There's multi-million ounce deposit just down the road, about 3 kilometers along trend from the project. So a real interesting setting. We're just kicked off a drill program there as well. So a real dual story to the company. So just to summarize, it's been a very good year, I would say, for the company. From inception, we've done 3 successive raises and raised over 30 million at progressively higher levels. We were able to generate a maiden resource of 750,000 ounces in the indicated category at 10.9 grams per ton gold equivalent. Both of those are gold equivalent numbers. So a really nice starting point. Now we're squarely focused on making it bigger, building value with the drill bit, expanding the resource, making new discoveries, both in Alaska and in Ontario. And we should have a lot of steady news now, well into the new year. That's HighGold. Thank you very much.